And I'm joined now by the President of Israel, Isaac Herzog. Mr. President, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate you're obviously very busy at the moment, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Let me start by taking you back to October the 7th, the day that was a catalyst for this new war. Where were you that day, and when did you hear about what had happened?
It was 6:30 in the morning. I was planning to wake up at around 7:30 because it was a holiday, a Saturday and a vacation. Actually, the entire week before was a national vacation because it was the Feast of Tabernacles. And I was planning to go to synagogue to celebrate the new opening of the Bible as we read each week a portion of the Bible. And so it was Genesis. And sirens broke. The silence in the entire neighborhood were torn to pieces by immense sirens and then booms and booms and booms. We immediately realized that we are under missile attack. It was a huge missile attack. In hindsight, we know that there was well over 2,000 missiles launched at all of Israel from Gaza. And the shock was huge, but we ran to the shelters. But we didn't know whether there was anything else. We assumed, okay, missile attack for some reason. I was telling my wife there's a missile attack. And then we opened the TV and started getting the news, endless news about atrocities all throughout our southern border, about people being locked in shelters and burned and under attack. And they call the emergency services. They call the studios of television. They speak to the anchorman who's on TV and say, "Save us, help us, help us. We're under attack. We're being butchered. We hear the enemy. We hear Arabic behind the door, etc., etc." And all hell broke loose. We've gone through the worst atrocity as a nation since the establishment of the State of Israel, the highest amount of Jews killed since the Holocaust, about 8 or 9 times 9/11 in terms of our national proportion of casualties, but it doesn't end. The cup is filled with poison. It doesn't end. We meet families all the time. I met the Almog Goldstein family. You have 3 generations, grandparents, parents, children, and many abducted and also killed and missing. And it goes on and on and on all the time.
You wrote a piece in the New York Times about this, and you talked about going to one of the kibbutz which were attacked and how you had to wash blood off your shoes and how the meetings you had with the families of those who've been taken hostage were the most difficult meetings of your life. Tell me about that.
In Be'eri, when I went in to see the havoc, the atrocities, the burning homes, in one of the homes, when I walked in, there was a pool of blood still drying. There were scalps. There was a woman's scalps with a rake holding it. That shows how atrocious these people were, how villains they are, how crazy, animalistic and barbaric and sadistic they are. And you walk and the house is totally ruined, but you see a picture of grandparents and parents and children hanging on the security room where they had their shelter, and the shelter was, of course, totally burnt. And I assume they're one of the burning bodies there. I mean, families were tied up in barbed wires and burned together. I could only think what they said to the Almighty before they parted earth. And then I went, and since then I keep on meeting families of the hostages. Endless stories. Why would Kfir, a 9-month-old baby, be hijacked? Now he's already 10. His grandmother told us, sorry, he's 10 months old. Okay? Why would Leah, 3 years old, be hijacked where all her family is being killed? They just took her. And so forth and so on, endless stories of atrocities on the one hand, and the worst of all is not knowing the fate of your loved one on the other hand. A clear crime against humanity, clear genocide took place in that area. Incidentally, the biggest peace-loving area in Israel, where the center of the peace movement was.